Hello, precious people. I'm Jacqueline Parks. Welcome to my studio, Stampin' Turtles. Today we're going to visit the subject matter of plein air painting. And right now I'm in my studio at home. I'm not on location anywhere because I don't know how to go live from different locations. So we're going to go live from my... are we going live? Let's see if it's going live. So far, nothing, but we'll see if it'll start making noise. So yeah, I'm going to tell you about my experience this weekend plein air painting and some tips and tricks about that. So if it's starting, is it starting? Oh, there it is. Hello. Got it finally. All right, so now it's working. Okay, so we are going to talk about plein air painting and what makes for good plein air paintings, right? We want to have success when we go out. And I am in a group that's local to me. My friend Janice introduced me to it, and she is fabulous. She goes plein air painting all the time. So I kind of took a cue from her and took my paints with me on my little trip going RVing with my sister-in-law, and her and I painted together. How fun is that? I want to show you guys how awesome our stuff turned out. So look at us here on location. Look at that. Me and my big hat that I just bought. But we thought that it would be really cool to paint those buildings, those condos in the background with the lake and the trees and the kind of reeds there in the foreground. Here's a close-up of mine, so you can kind of see how it looks. And I feel like the angle that I was painting from, I did not actually stay true to what I was seeing. For some reason, I painted the building a little bit more to the right than I should have. It should have been to the left, and the trees were further apart. But that's just part of painting from life rather than a photo. So when I paint from a photo, I can definitely, I can see what it actually really looks like versus what my, shifting my body weight and kind of moving a little bit does to my angle. But here's my setup. And one of the funniest things, I was looking online to see what's some tips for plein air painting, and it says have a good easel. As you can see, I'm using Tupperware or whatever, a bin's lid, plastic lid. I used this washi tape that did not stick really good, so my paper kept flipping with the wind blowing, and it just was kind of funny and comical. And I do have my whole palette and all these paintbrushes. Plein air tips say to keep your palette simple and do things quickly. I do paint rather quickly, but that was just hilarious, I think, that they're saying to limit your palette, right? And I'm like, well, I bring my whole palette. My whole palette came with me. So anyways, today's desk setup is this. I've just got these brushes, if you can see kind of what I've got, if that helps with the sizing, because like everybody's numbers are kind of different on their brushes, like, and these are all rubbed off, so I don't even know what size these are anymore, but just by looking at it compared to my hand, you can kind of see what size we're going to be using. And what I think I might do is show you how sometimes washi tape being taped down is not the greatest. We'll see how that looks. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you are liking this video, give me a thumbs up. I love to see the little hearts floating up. This is very strange washi tape. Let me see if it's gonna work. It feels really strange. We'll see. It almost feels like Scotch tape, but I don't know. And normally I don't even tape down on my my desk. I usually use a clipboard of some sort, but today I just wanted to show you, if you're improvising like me, You can use washi tape if you've got it. This one, we'll see how it does when it gets wet. We were finding that our washi tape from the weekend was just lifting up on the edges here as we painted, and it was coming off, and then the wind would catch the paper and it would blow towards us. And like, as you're painting, your paper would hit your brush and it would be a big blob of paint somewhere that you didn't want it. So that's not fun. I do have somewhat cleanish water today. Look at that. But if you want to see me paint with dirty water, I still have some, of course. And I do have this palette that is no longer original paint that came in here. This was from Hobby Lobby, and it was just like their Master's Touch. You can go buy it for like 10 bucks, I think, and it gives you 24 colors, which is awesome. But I removed the black and replaced it with Payne's Gray, and I just squeezed out some Payne's Gray in there. And I actually, this one is Winsor Newton. This one is, what is that brand? I have a hard time pronouncing. May Mary Blue. That's not really hard pronouncing. I just forget what it's called. So there's two different types of Payne's Gray in here. I'm going to maybe test them out and see which one I like better. This was from last week's painting. Remember when I did the sea cliffs? If you didn't watch that, you can go back and see that. Full live video is posted now, and you can watch it and pause it, rewind it, however you want to follow along. I'm really bad about telling you what the names of paint colors are, but I do know that sometimes it's not really important to have the name as opposed to just being able to see what color it is. So I always recommend swatching your paints so you know what color they are. And right now I'm just going to swatch both of these Payne's Gray just to see what the difference is. Ooh. That one just is very saturated. Didn't need to be that saturated. But I'll tell you, look at the difference. One is definitely more bluish than the other. It might have been just that I didn't pick up enough. But this one is the Winsor Newton. Definitely different. See, that's what I'm saying, y'all. We gotta experiment. We gotta know our paints, know what our colors are on our own palette. Two different brands, same color. Totally different. Well, not totally different, but very subtle differences, I guess. And it's just a matter of preference. What do you like? So that's what I do. I'd say figure out what you guys like, and that's where you should go. So plein air tip number one that I want to just tell you guys, which I think we did in our paintings, was to pick a focal point that was going to ground us. Because like if you were to pick an image of a beach with nothing in the foreground, nothing in the background, it would be rather simple, but it would not be as interesting. Well, we decided to pick this condo in the background, like I showed you in the picture of us. So that condo was in the background. And I thought the trees in the foreground were great. I did kind of simplify some of the grasses when I painted mine. As you see here, I did simplify a little bit. And there is shadow from the tent that I was under so that we were out of the sun. I think that's kind of cool if you can do that while your plein air painting is going in the shade somewhere so the sun isn't directly on your painting. Another thing was the wind was something we had to deal with. And the shadows change. So every 20 minutes, your shadows are going to move. So it's more important to paint the subject matter first and shadows last, which is what I do anyways. I do that with painting from a picture on my phone versus anything else. I just like that. I may paint this one today for you because it's a beautiful picture from the hike we took, and it's got beautiful shadows across the path. I like it. And so that would be something where, like, if you're starting a painting and there's that much shadows, I would focus on the road, trees, and sky, and then do shadows last to get more accuracy with that. So we're not really painting for realism, although this is the wrong direction. I'm just gonna improvise and make it landscape, y'all. It's not landscape, but it is what it is. Also, if you're drawing for the first time, I want you guys to know that even if you're not that good at drawing, just make sure everything's getting bigger towards you, and then that helps, okay? So you might be, oh, it's not good. It's good. It's just sometimes we mess up that perspective, right? And I'm making these trees right here, and you don't even see what picture I'm showing you, but that's okay. And there's some trees and pine trees up here. So this is going to make a great picture. With this focal point is the road going around the bend. And the shadows are going to be coming across, but I'm not going to paint those. I'm going to paint those. Nope, not yet. I'm going to keep it simple. That's what the key to plein air painting is. Keep it simple. Now, you probably can't see my drawing because it's so light. I'm sorry. I can't press hard or it will be disastrous. So now what I'm doing is with clean water, wetting the sky. Wetting the sky. Now, with plein air watercolor painting, you can do you can do the subject first if you want, but I find it's easier to just paint this sky. I need more blue, more of this blue, and it's very dirty. Do I even have paper towels on my desk? Why is it I never have paper towels? I have dirty ones. I guess we'll use a dirty one. I want to make this blue a little different. So sometimes our blue in our sky is really vibrant. And when I do plein air, trying to get that perfect blue color is so hard. That pretty Mr. Blue Sky blue. You know what I'm talking about, that song, Mr. Blue Sky. So we're going to just go in with this, which I think cobalt blue is a perfect blue sky. Look at that. So I got my blue sky on there. I'm going to rinse my brush, and I'm going to put in, we're going to do that Payne's Gray for, mix it in with whatever's on this palette because it looks great. And we're just going to go in quick. Plein air is quick. Now, what if you get the color wrong and you're like, oh, I don't like that color for the ground? You can always lift it with some clean water and make it lighter. So that's kind of like what I would say asphalt color. It's going to have some, we're going to focus on color. So here is this brown that's kind of on the side of the road. On this side, it's more in the sun. On this side, it's more in the shade, but we're not going to worry about shadows, remember? We're focusing only on getting a color down. And I'm using the largest brush. It does say when you want to do plein air, do some large brushes to begin with, okay? Otherwise, and here's a little close-up of my painting. And so far it looks pretty ugly, but we'll get to the pretty stage. Remember, we got to get to the ugly stage first, which is kind of like blocking in color. Even with my classes, and we're not even doing plein air, we're just in a controlled environment. So during all this, if I was painting plein air, it could be wind blowing, it could be It could be all kinds of stuff happening right now. That would be, you know, there could be bugs. Sometimes there's bugs. Didn't like the bugs flying around me while painting. There's a lot to the plein air that is definitely a challenge. Now see how I'm going into the blue a little bit right here, and it's kind of bleeding up into the blue. And then I do kind of want to make a darker green. Look at this darker green we're gonna do. Red and green make a darker green. And I'm just doing this with my largest brush, just getting it down. So already we're getting some good stuff, but I want to zoom in and show you something. The water has kind of flowed into my road. So if I can just fix that real quick. Right, like this. People are being crazy out there. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to the crazies. They're screaming. I don't know why. Are you guys hearing this? I don't know. Everything on my paper is still wet. So when you're plein air painting out in the elements, you want to go quickly. You don't have time for things to really dry in between. But we're, what is my little bit doing? He is wanting to go out there probably a little bit. Shh. We don't need to go out there and bark at people. Just let this dry. Let this kind of, if you were outside, it would dry fast. We are inside, so it's not going to dry fast. Now I'm not going to use my flat brush anymore. I'm going to use this brush. This pointy round brush. I like it because even though it's a fairly inexpensive brush, it has served me well. It's like my workhorse of a brush. It does everything, and it's the size and the shape that I want for everything that I do. I don't know if you can focus on me instead of my paints. There we go. So I've got this going on. Watercolor, you kind of need to wait for things to dry. And since we don't have natural sunlight drying this, we're going to use my wonderful Stampin' Up! Heat tool. Look at how good this washi tape's doing. I did not expect this. I don't know where this washi tape came from, but look how much is on here. Like a whole bunch. So that's why I like having washi tape sometimes to tape down things, even if it doesn't work. But this one works great. Can get in here. So we're going to use this larger round brush. I do have a smaller round brush that we'll use to do detail, but at this point, no detail. We don't need detail yet. But we're going to mix some pretty greens with yellow because there's some yellow on parts. Parts of these trees have yellow, and I don't know, I like to mix different yellows. I need to squeeze out some more yellow ochre. It's a dark one. Now, why would my voice start getting all yucky from taking a sip of tea? It's supposed to not do that. So see how I'm doing this? See how I'm doing this? I'm just putting where I see, and this is another thing I want to tell you guys about. Maybe look into my eyes so you know what I'm saying. You are an artist and you are painting, and this is your brain interpreting what you see. Therefore, if you go with a group of people and you do plein air, you'll have the same scene, but you'll have different interpretations. Even from a still photo like I'm using right now, I will interpret what I'm seeing differently than you. So sometimes you think you got it wrong. But I would not say it's wrong. I would say you are an artist interpreting something with your own mind, your own skills. And that's what It's going to make it amazing. Anyways, back to the painting. I'm going to put some more yellowish green in here. I'm going to put a lot of yellowish green in here. Lots. I just dipped it in that yellow. I'm going to put some yellowish green in there. I do like to just dab some yellow straight in there. And dab in that yellow in there. I think that's going to be pretty close, y'all. Pretty close to what I'm seeing. But it's not going to be perfect, right? It's going to be a little different than what I see. Do I want this to be all the way to the ground there? Maybe. And you can always blend. If something's harsh and you don't like it, just blend it out with some clean water. It'll look good. That's what I like to do. But I don't mind this little harsh area right here. It's fine. I like how these are looking on here. If you zoom in, you can see what I'm talking about. Do we have a zoom in? Zoom in? There we go. So see how this is very muted. This is very muted. But here's my yellow greens. Those are the highlights with the sunlight hitting them. So the green is more yellow. That's a little eraser on there. So now I'm going to look at putting in the dark greens underneath that because we want them to blend together. So I'm going to do a nice green, mix it in here. See how I'm taking green and I'm mixing in some of the red to darken that. Just we want it to be a little darker, a little bit darker, right? See this? See this? See? Oh, that's nice. That's so nice. So I'm just going to dip it, start going in here. It's almost too dark, I think. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I like it. Sometimes I do these things and I'm like, do I like this? Do I not like this? That's all I know is that we're gonna try putting darker areas in here and see what happens. So that's looking fairly nice. And I do see some burnt sienna mixed with yellow. Let's see what happens if we just mix it with this yellow. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see where I'm putting it. I'm going to put it here and there, just here and there. Why? Because it's going to make this look pretty. See that? It's already starting to look like a fabulous painting. Fabulous. And I like bleeds sometimes in my watercolor. Right here you can see one. I think it looks interesting. We may end up covering it with shadow. Who knows? In here, I'm going to start doing my Payne's Gray. Dip it into the Payne's Gray. We'll use the Winsor Newton. Why not? Ooh, that's not even wet anymore. Look at that. Not even wet. What do? Dip it in the water. Then it spreads. Look at that. That's adding some interest, some beauty. Just try it. Don't get scared. We should never have fear. Only trust the process, right? Trusting the process is super important. So this is like what I would be doing, except there would be a lot of bugs and wind. And the sun would blind me in my eyes if I'm not under a tent. That's the only difference, really, painting outdoors and indoors. I might have to put a little bit more along this edge. Along this edge. Let me see. Let's dip a little bit more. Right in here. I like it. It's like leaves. Sorry, my voice. I like in here too. Look at this. Blend it into colors already on your paper. It makes it interesting, right? Up here is a little bit of interest of brown. I don't know. I might put some just where I don't even know, where it's maybe not even there. And we'll just do it. We'll just have fun trying it. What do you think? You like that? I think it's looking good so far. Give me a thumbs up if you're enjoying this tutorial, this live video. I like to go live on Mondays at 10 a.m. That is Central Time, I believe. Central? Am I Central Time here? I don't know. I think I am. Anyways, now I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. So that one's bye-bye. Just cleaned it. We're going smaller. Gotta go smaller sometimes. I did lose my... I don't know where it went. I lost my rigger. I had 3. Now they're all gone. So I will have to buy more riggers. I should just have a 10-pack of riggers available at all times on my desk. I love how this is looking already, but it's not even there yet. It's not even done yet. Okay, it's not even done. But it'll look so fabulous, y'all. I'm loving it. Okay, we're going to mix a nice dark, and I mean dark brown. So I start with burnt sienna. See that nice reddish color? Now I'm dipping it in my Payne's Gray. A little bit of Payne's Gray. And look at that. It looks fabulous. I like that color. And it's still really light. So I do have some trees here. Trees. And again, if I don't get these just right, it's not going to matter. We are just going to enjoy the process, right? It's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay. How many trees are here? 1, 2, 3. I think I did some of these a little bit. I don't know. No one's going to know. How will they know? They're going to know. Okay. So I've got these going into the foreground here. They're going to be more where you can see in front of the bushes. See this? But it's still really wet in there. I think this one, I can see the tops of that tree, so I'm going to make it branch out. So we're not going to go all the way off the paper, but these ones are going off the paper. So they're going to be interesting that way. This one is further away than this one, so I'm going to bring this one down and make it a little bigger. Because I can see that it's a bigger tree because it's closer to me. And there's 2 trees actually right there. So I don't know if I like how that's looking, but we'll see. We'll see. It's fine if it's not perfect. It's already looking pretty to me. There's 1 tree over on this side I want to do. Did I draw him? I did, but I don't remember. And then he's a little tree, so he's just going to go right there. But you can see it's going right there a little bit. So now, oh, you can't even see that. It's so pale you can't see it. It's okay though. I could go thicker with the paint in the Payne's Gray, but I'm not ready for that. I want to check everything before I start doing any more details. Checking it out and seeing how I like it. I think I like it. I don't think I want to change anything. I feel like it's perfect. So like at this stage, if you're plein air painting, you would look at your scene in front of you, and then you would look at the whole picture on your paper, and you would make any adjustments now if it's different. You know, my throat was all clogged up yesterday too. I don't know if it's pollen, something's falling. I'm falling from the sky. Now I want to go darker. I want to go darker. So I'm going to put more Payne's Gray, more Payne's Gray, more Payne's Gray, more burnt sienna, Burnt sienna. Look at how thick this is. We got some thick paint, but it's too thick because it won't flow. So we add a little water and then we see how it's flowing. It's flowing. But it's not too flowy. I don't want it to be like it was before. So we're just going to go right into what I did just now. It might not be thick enough still. It might not be, but this is the stage. I went smaller with my brushes. So we can start doing a couple of little twiggy things coming off here. And why do we do this? Because it adds a lot of interest when you actually do it. One thing I want to tell you, which is different for other mediums than this medium, and that is when you are lifting your brush with watercolor, it will deposit where you lift. So you can see I'm starting at the tips of these branches, some of them, and I'm going towards the trunk because when I lift, it's going to deposit a bunch of water and paint. So sometimes when we do that, it's going to be like if I go this way, it might deposit a bunch at the end rather than where I want it. And I don't know. I could do some more little trees here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And there's some really little trees right there. I don't want it to look like a fence though. We're just going to do them little. This is something, there's some trees here. We're going to make this darker and make the little branches come out. This is also darker. Might as well just add some in there because I like to do that just while it's kind of semi-wet and create these little things. And then these branches coming out, they may not be perfect, but they're going to be interesting, right? We want it to be kind of interesting. Kind of interesting, right? They don't have to be what we actually see because we are the artist interpreting things. So look at that. That's my interpretation of what I'm seeing. There's a lot of stuff in here, but I'm not done yet. We gotta still do the shadows. And it's been about 30 minutes since I started. I might just go ahead and put straight Payne's Gray right into this to make the dark. I like how dark this one part of these trees are. And sometimes your brush strokes make it so that you are committed to doing something. You're committed now, right? You have to do it. Even though you can erase with your watercolor, when you put stuff in there, you can erase. Now I'm going to mix that Payne's Gray Brown, which we've all jokingly said we're going to call this Parks Green or something because it's a brownie green. We're just joking, but I think that would be a fun color to mix and sell. Maybe I'll mix it up and sell it to y'all in my copious spare time. So I'm just adding some greenery back into here, and it seems like there's a lot of green in here that's like this color, and I'm just making it so it looks like the tree line is going away from me, right? It's going away. There's still some highlights and stuff, but I'm basically doing that. Doesn't that look like a little forest scene? A little bit in the woods here. And some people, they like to splatter. We tried splattering, or I did, plein air, and guess what happened? The wind blew that. Just blew it. Now I'm just adding a little bit of extra water to get rid of some of the blobbies. I like how it does look though. And the smaller your brush, the smaller your splatters. I'm gonna, if it's not splattering, add water. Because sometimes our splatters aren't doing anything. And you're like, why aren't they doing anything? It's because you don't have enough water. No water. But I'm mixing in all kinds of different stuff in here. And I'm mixing it into this area. And just making that fun over there. We're gonna do some more over here. You could change brushes if that's not making it fun for you to paint. You can always change the brush size. But that looks pretty nice. I like how that's looking. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. That's going to come back. It's already, I'll bring it back. Don't worry. We don't worry. No worries when you're playing air painting or watercolor painting. Everything can be fixed up and look better. I really like how loose this looks. For me, it's almost done. For me, it's almost done except for the shadows. Love it. Love it. Look at this. It's pretty. It's pretty. Okay. I think we're going to let this dry. So if you're outside, it would dry fast. I'm going to add dark Payne's Gray, just almost perfectly saturated Payne's Gray. This is our final. So see how I added it in here? And this one is going to come down in here. I do kind of want to add a little bit more up here. And the trees closest to you are going to be the darkest. That's why I'm making these guys dark. These other ones are very pale, barely can see them. You can add a little bit more to some of them. This is where you can really be enjoying the process and just like, what do I see? My eyes are seeing things, right? My eyes are seeing something here. Seeing a bunch of trees down here at the end. Maybe one right there. These should be a little taller. Taller. Give me some taller trees right there. This one might be a little taller as well. So I got some more detailed trees in there. See how they're looking? Over here, there are some little branch, bush, spindly things. I don't know what they are. They're trees or if they're just the bushes. I don't know what this is, but we're going to make grass. This is also darker. So this is when the stage you start adding your values in, right? Your darks and your lights. Well, you gotta preserve your lights when you're watercoloring. You don't paint your lights. I'm gonna add some little things coming up out of this bush from behind here. Some darker areas in here. And it could be a little chaotic painting all of these, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a bunch of tree trunks in a row and you're like, oh, do I have to paint all that? No, you don't have to paint all that. You can just paint what you want. I took out a tree or bush. I took out a bush when I was plein air painting because I just didn't want to paint it. Didn't want to paint it. Now I'm going to add some little twiggies in here. I think I'm kind of inventing this part, really. So now I want you to think about the colors that you see. What do you see here? So your values are going to be based on what you interpret them to be. Okay? So I am going to, it's my brush. And I'm going to get one size bigger again, just because I think it'll help me get more down quickly. And I'm going to show you my palette just so you know what I'm mixing a little bit here. Getting my brush wet. I'm going to mix in that cobalt blue. I'm going to mix some right there. And I'm going to pick out some Payne's Gray and mix in to that blue. So this is now a nice gray blue. And what I'm going to do is make the shadows across the path and connect to the trees. Now, if you were plein air painting, these things would be shifting as you were painting those trees. So you may not end up with the same direction for your shadows. But the cool thing is that you would end up getting what you see in front of you. And that's what we kind of want, right? We want it to be the shadows falling here and there. And there's branches. There's shadows of branches going across. I'm going to add some water. I need more water to get it flowing. There's where we're getting some shadows there. Some shadows here. Some lines. You could go smaller if your brush is too thick for some of these small shadows. So switch down if you have to. We're going to put some shadows across this pathway down here. They don't go all the way across. I'm just letting my eyes figure it out. There is some right here that go all the way across. And there's more shadows in this section. And I'm liking how that's looking. Now we may want to go a little bit darker. And you can always go darker if you didn't go dark enough, right? So you can add some shadow right in there. And it's wet, so it's going to kind of blend and lighten anyways, right? And this is shadow under that tree. And we're just going to add some shadow in here. Kind of lost some yellowish green in here for some reason on the path. I don't know if I can bring that back. Let's see what happens if I just go pure thick yellow. It's kind of like, well, no, you're not doing it, but it's okay. It's okay. If I don't get that back in, it's fine. Don't need to worry about it too much. Sometimes it's better to just let your mistakes be mistakes. I'm going to add a little bit more lime green in there. Maybe just a little bit in here. So this can happen while you're painting anywhere. Is that you just didn't get the values right. Go right over the top if you didn't like how it was. You can add yellow over the top of something in a pale translucent, and that will just bring out what color you're trying to achieve, right? So I'm going to add some shadows in here. Some shadows on this part. I'm going to add that bluish shadow over here. It's making it look very realistic just with a few little these like weird little shadows. My blue got greened up a little bit. Let me see what I'm doing. Let's make it up again. Make it up again. You didn't make enough. That's the problem. Sometimes you don't make up enough of a color, and trying to match it is hard. But I wouldn't stress too much about that. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. And some people, if it dries too fast while they're painting plein air, they bring a spray bottle. So if you don't have a spray bottle, you could invest in one. I am darkening these shadows a little bit more. I really want them to look more, I want them to look darker in areas. So I'm adding more Payne's Gray to really push the limits of that shadow. See how I'm pushing it out, popping it. Not enough water. Gotta add water. But see how closer to me, it's definitely gonna pop and look darker. But if your light was changing, if you were doing this out in the real world, you would end up with some different shadows if you're not fast. Your shadow would start to change. So this is the stage where I would be doing lots more of this at the very final stage, which is where I'm at. I'm at a final stage here. And I'm just accentuating that little area. Accentuating some of the darks down here. Maybe adding some Payne's Gray right under this tree. And popping this a little bit more. If it's too dark, you can always lighten it a little with some clean water and dab in. There you go. I think that is looking fabulous. It is kind of settling in here. I have like ripples in my paper. But you know what? It's watercolor. It should be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I could blow it with this. I am liking that. Let's see if we can see the big picture. The big picture. What do you think? It looks like I took a photograph and put it on the table there. The shadows are what really makes it, right? And see some of these darker shadows, they're really popping in the background. And in here it's popping. Everything's like whoosh. Looking fabulous. Still looks like a watercolor. I don't know if I can zoom in. Let me see how close I can get. And it's kind of crooked and it's already taped down. Can I twist this around? I don't think I can. Sorry. Can't twist these things. Need one of those cameras that can twist. That's kind of more zoomed in. I'm liking it. I think I will leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it. Which we're almost at 11 p.m. And so yeah, I think that definitely I'm loving how the shadows looked on this. I think it looks good. I don't know if the left-hand side is perfect, but I can always fix that, I think. I think it looks fine. I don't know. That tree is kind of casting a shadow. And someone is calling me. I will have to call them back. Hopefully it didn't mess up this whole thing. That happened to me once when I was going live and someone called me and it was like the whole live shut down. So hopefully that did not happen today to you guys. I don't know how to really turn that stuff off, but anyways, the blob in the front here is definitely, it could dry weird on here. This little part right here could dry a little weird. It's kind of like it's like a bloom that you may not like, but sometimes blooms look really cool when they dry. I'm gonna let it dry. Anyways, I'm trying not to be all froggy voiced. But it happens, you know? So here's our little stack of Bible verses that we like to pick from randomly and see what pops up. I like that one. We'll see if there's another one. I know all these ones are good ones, but that's a good one. I think this might be encouraging, and it's not like one of those verses that's well known, I don't think. It's Zephaniah 3:17. And it says, "You are blessed. The Lord your God is with you. His power gives you victory. The Lord will take delight in you, and in his love, he will give you new life." Trust that, y'all. Trust that. Anything you're going through today, trust that the Lord is with you, and he's going to give you power to give you victory. He's delighting in you, and his love will give you new life. Think about how much he loves you. He sent Jesus to die on the cross for you. That kind of love is unbreakable. Like even you turning away, if you have a period of time where you turn away from the Lord in your faith walk, that won't break the bond. The bond is there. And he will always be with you. And he will love you forever. And he loves the whole world. And he loves all the people around you. So if you're having difficult times with people, just know that God loves them. And that gives you a whole new perspective on how to deal with people. Sometimes we have days where we don't deal well. Repent and return to the Lord. Because that's what happens to me. Sometimes I get a little hot under the collar, as you might say, crash out. So then I do that, and then I'll be like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to crash out." And you crash out against people, and they can forgive, or maybe they hold a grudge, but the Lord will forgive you. You come to him and you say, "Lord, I'm sorry how I treated this person." He will forgive you, and then you can start fresh. Don't let shame or anything in your past, how you've been, hold you back from being all that God has called you to be right now. So if you're struggling in that way, don't let that hold you back from your potential to be a good Christian that shows the light of Jesus. And I mean good Christian in the way that you're not behaving perfectly. No one does. But you actually love people, and you love Jesus, and you love yourself, and you want to have a world full of people who love each other and are peaceful and kind. That's what you're wanting. And so we just mirror that. We mirror what God and Jesus tell us in the Bible. So I just read my Bible. I try and be good in the way that the Lord has called me to be. And I just love that he's given me such great friends, such a great church to be part of. And even if you feel alone, just know that there's people out there who would love to talk to you. So if you're one of those people that feel like you don't know where to go or what to do, or your local church isn't helping you like you think it should, reach out to me. I'm available. Just go on my website, send me a text, and I will respond to that. Maybe not right away. I'm always busy doing things, going to Bible study, going to small groups, going to art journaling, going to my studio. I need to do a couple commissions right now that I'm starting. So, but I will respond eventually, maybe an hour or two or whatever. But just know that I pray for you. I love you. I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next